Have you ever worked on a goal and it started to feel like things weren't moving fast enough? Or you started to have doubts about your ability to actually achieve the goal? Or maybe you started to run into obstacles, unexpected mishaps that made it look like something was going wrong or you weren't even meant to achieve the goal. This has happened to me many times, and I want to share with you the most important lesson that I've learned from those experiences. My name is Alex Potter, and I'm the founder of Alex Potter Coaching and Consulting. When we set a goal, we tend to put our rational mind in charge. And while I'm not saying that we shouldn't involve our rational mind, when we put it in charge, the following three things tend to happen. The first thing is that our mind believes that achieving our goal can only happen through a linear process, meaning that we have to move from A to B to C to D and so on. The second thing is that when we put our rational mind in charge, it believes that things can only happen in a certain way, which means that if unanticipated things show up, our rational mind then reacts by judging those things, or it tries to convince us that something is going wrong. And that can create stuckness and pull us off our path. And the third thing is that when our rational mind is in charge, it wants to control the process because it believes that if it can control every aspect of the process, it can protect us from perceived danger, harm, or threats, such as being judged by others, failure, and any type of other painful experience you can imagine. So when we step back, we can see that those assumptions aren't really true. Because pursuing a goal clearly isn't always a linear process, right? We can all remember mishaps during a process of achieving a goal that turn out to be a blessing in disguise. And it's also clear that we can't control everything when we're in the process of achieving a goal. So that means that when we put our rational mind in charge as we're working towards a goal, we deny ourselves the possibility of achieving the goal. We're making the process unnecessarily difficult. And often because when things go wrong or seemingly go wrong and our rational mind starts to judge the process, we often give up. And we believe that achieving the goal is no longer on the table for us. But if we work with our inner wisdom, our intuitive knowing, in my experience, we all have something inside of us that I often refer to as our inner wisdom. Some people call it higher wisdom, intuitive knowing, instinct, gut instinct. And it's that part of us that has access to infinite potentiality that surrounds us at all times, which means that it has access to information that our rational mind doesn't have access to. And so when we work with our inner wisdom and its guidance as we're pursuing a goal, our inner wisdom can actually create the best conditions for us to achieve the goal. Because trusting in our inner wisdom means that we don't immediately jump to conclusions or judgment when something seemingly unwanted happens, right? Instead, we shift our focus onto open-ended questions that allow us to access the guidance of our inner wisdom, our intuitive knowing, right? For example, we could ask ourselves, what is this apparent mishap or challenge pointing me towards that I need to see in order to achieve my goal? Or what's my inner wisdom trying to communicate to me so that I can achieve my goal in the fastest way possible? Or what action steps feel truly good and right at this moment? So the key is to notice whenever judgment comes up and to not get caught up in it and to not believe the thoughts and assumptions our rational mind is trying to convince us of. And knowing that it's just trying to protect us from perceived danger, but trying to convince us that we have to judge what we're experiencing isn't really helpful, because it's not allowing us to access the wisdom or the intelligence, the gift of valuable information that usually are contained in challenges that we run into on our way towards achieving a goal. And so I want to invite you to practice getting into a state of calmness whenever you run into a challenge or you feel that as you're pursuing a goal, your rational mind is trying to get in the way. It's trying to judge an unanticipated challenge. It judges something that was unexpected and is trying to convince us that something is going wrong. And so instead of allowing itself to be pulled by the energy of those judgments and the points of resistance, I want to invite you to pull back and to use one of those open-ended questions I shared with you before, or a similar one, and to just tune in with your inner wisdom and ask for deeper guidance on how to relate to what you're experiencing, but also how to best respond so that you can continue to make progress. Because in my experience, any challenge that we run into on our way towards achieving a goal usually is necessary. It's a stepping stone that brings us important information for us to receive, or an important lesson for us to learn so that we actually can get to the next level and make progress. But our rational mind doesn't know that, because it believes things can only happen in a certain way. So it's really important to not allow your rational mind to be in the driver's seat as you're pursuing a goal. You can use your rational mind to plan, to do research, to process information. But when it comes to the deeper sense of knowing which direction to move in and what to do, it's always best to consult our inner wisdom. Because when we do that, then we receive insights. We receive or we conceive new ideas, intuitive hunches, such as reaching out to someone, doing something, looking somewhere that we hadn't even thought about, or, taking out a book and reading something, talking to a person that can connect us with a resource or another resource person that can help us. But the key is to get into a calm state of mind and to use open-ended questions. And I found that journaling can be a great way to connect with our inner wisdom. But it could also be just taking a walk in nature, or doing some art, playing music, whatever allows you to get into a calm state of mind where you can relax and get out of your busy thoughts. If you like what I shared with you, please share this video with others that might benefit from it. And please consider hitting the like button and consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.